On the Young and the Restless, tomorrow, Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, Kyle confronts Victor. We've got the photo spoilers of what's coming up. Y&R's Lily has no time for anyone anymore. She is somewhere she doesn't want to be, with people she doesn't even like. And, inconveniently, her new boyfriend just got murdered. But when Phyllis tries to give her opinion, Lily stands her ground. While Audra and Lily talk in the maze, they hear a noise that startles them. They call out asking who is there. Are they in physical danger or just about to be annoyed? Kyle is furious with Victor for conspiring against him with Audra. Even though he didn't fall for her tricks, he does have $5 million on the line. Victor and Nikki have enough on their minds already, with Nick and Sharon being held against their will. But Kyle doesn't care. He's had it with Victor's interference in his life and in his relationship with Claire. So he tells Nikki the truth about Victor's deal with Audra. Amanda is concerned when she walks in on Kane in his office, reviewing the security tapes of the murder. But the video cuts out at the exact moment the knife is thrown into Damien's back. To Amanda, it looks like Kane is deleting the footage. To Amanda's surprise, Kane tells her that he was actually about to call her in and accuse her of doing that exact thing. Will their relationship change after Kane questions Amanda's loyalty? Victor is determined to find his son and Sharon. He knows that Kane invited Chance to the estate because he anticipated that someone would try to kill him. Victor wants answers, and he wants them now. If Chance doesn't have any, then he will have to be the one to spearhead this investigation. Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On the Young and the Restless, Kane is the worst billionaire in the world. If we had that kind of moolah, that estate would be loaded with toys. And not just mazes and antique model trains either. We're talking jets, helicopters, boats, and probably a robot, because why not? But Kane? He walks around in cardigans while everyone else is in sundresses and shorts. He has a mansion with one hidden phone, just one security guard, and he won't let anyone through the front door. Other than swim in the pool, there's nothing to do there. Is he Howard Hughes? For a guy who zipped back and forth to Genoa City for a meeting that could have been an email, he sure does stuff strangely. Keeping everyone trapped on his estate is never going to benefit him in any way, especially once they all return to Genoa City. Nikki will find out that Cole died, and she was prevented from being there with her daughter and granddaughter when they needed her most. Devin, Chance, and Abby will have to remind Dominic who they are, though he's probably sorest by now anyway. Lily's already constantly perturbed, and every day that goes by isn't scoring him any points. And then there's Sharon, who shouldn't be locked up. But Sharon's been held captive 3 times now in 7 months. Regardless of how a citizen's arrest works in France, not to mention how this whole murder has been handled, I hope Kane's not too married to his bank account. I sense a class action lawsuit is in order. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Lily could embark on a new romance with this unexpected person. Heartache has once again hit Lily on the Young and the Restless. Her beau Damien was killed during their trip to France. Lily is grief-stricken now, but she'll eventually find love again, and fans think it'll be with this man. Lily's life has been turned upside down since arriving in France. She was stunned to discover Aristotle Dumas was her ex-husband, Kane. Kane made it clear he still loves Lily, but she put the kibosh on a reunion. Lily was ready to move on with Damien until tragedy struck. Damien was killed by a knife to the back, launching a murder mystery. As Chance begins his investigation, Lily is someone who will provide assistance. Lily is certain Kane is responsible for Damien's death, and wants him to pay. Right now, romance is the last thing on Lily's mind. However, that could change with her and Chance working on the case. On X, fans believe that Lily and Chance have potential as a couple. Chance and Lily have a little spark, right? Asked one user. Another fan was on board with the idea. Lily and Chance would be an interesting pairing, but probably won't be happening since he's leaving. Although a Lane reunion is being foreshadowed, Lily moving on to someone like Chance would be refreshing. Chance has been single for a while and needs a love interest. Having him date Lily would bring some family awkwardness. Lily's brother Devin is married to Chance's ex-wife Abby, so Dabby will probably feel uncomfortable with the relationship. Plus, let's not forget Kane, who'll be upset with the romance. He enlisted the detective to protect him, but Chance stealing Lily will create tension between the two men. When an actress gets to play a daytime role for years on end, it's something to celebrate and be proud of. But when she lands a dream role, one that she never thought she'd ever get to do, well, that's something to be very excited about. This is the case for the young and the restless Courtney Hope, who posted an Instagram story to share the big news. In the video, Hope was clearly stunned, simply taken aback as she relayed what happened to her followers. "So, I found out I booked something today, and I'm so excited," she began, then went on to state, "Like I never thought I was going to get to do something like this in my life. I literally had to call and say, 'Are you sure you meant me? Really?'" Again, through pure excitement, the actress continued, "It's just crazy where life brings you. It couldn't be in better alignment with what I love. It's crazy. I can't tell you anything about it. That's all I can say. I'm so excited. I genuinely was like, really? Not because I don't think I could do it. I normally don't post stuff like this, but life's wild." The actress has been playing Genoa City's Sally on the CBS soap since 2020, and prior to that, debuted in the role on sister show The Bold and the Beautiful in 2017. She's appeared in various primetime roles and has voiced numerous video game characters, including Jessie in the Control franchise. To say that we're excited to hear more about this mystery role that is Hope clearly beyond grateful for is an understatement. Talk about a soapy cliffhanger. We'll be sure to update readers once more details are released. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal that Nick Newman will sustain injuries during an escape attempt. This will prompt Sally Spectra and Sharon Newman to spring into action, Sally putting pressure on what appears in the promo to be a very serious wound. Ever since Adam Newman showed up in the Enclave, the Newmans have been trying to figure out a way to escape the foliage-filled prison they have found themselves in. Adam literally hiked up the mountain, and since then, even Nikki Newman has been wanting to hike back down, along with others in the family. No doubt Nick and possibly Sharon with him decide to try Adam's route down the mountain, because with even Chance Chancellor unable to provide help, the situation is becoming more desperate. However, it doesn't work so well for Nick and Sharon, at least not on the first attempt, and they find themselves in an even more desperate situation. No doubt they try to find their way down the mountain again, and that's when Nick is injured. After Carter puts Nick and Sharon under house arrest, they will find themselves confined and will struggle to escape. Naturally, Kane Ashby's guests haven't been entirely free either, as they are stuck on a mountain without cell service, but Sharon and Nick will encounter an even more dire situation of captivity. Sharon might experience a sense of déjà vu, since she has been taken hostage far too often in recent months. This scenario will unfold once more, but Nick will promise to rescue them. Sadly, accomplishing that will prove to be more challenging due to the presence of an armed security guard. Additionally, there's a dangerous killer on the loose, which means Nick is taking a big risk in his quest for freedom. No matter what happens, Nick's attempt to escape is likely to end badly. According to Y&R spoilers, Nick will sustain injuries, making the situation even worse. Whether it's the security guard or the killer who strikes, Nick will end up with a serious cut on his side. This will require medical help, but he won't be able to receive it immediately. Fortunately, Nick will get some help. Sally will somehow come into the picture and assist Nick by applying pressure to his injury, and Sharon and Sally will support injured Nick as he navigates this failed escape. In the aftermath of the incredibly emotional scenes surrounding Cole's untimely demise, Amelia Heinley's young and restless character is largely focused on making sure her daughter Claire is okay. But the soap isn't likely to let Victoria take too much time off from her love life, despite her tragic circumstances. Indeed, she's already eyeing her next romance. Thanks to young and restless spoilers, we know Victoria will be leaning on ex-boyfriend, Nate, at least while her parents and his girlfriend remain stranded on the French Riviera. Given what Audra's gotten up to overseas, there's a decent chance that Nate, who recently rekindled a friendship with Victoria, might end up single in the not-too-distant future. Considering that he'll be grieving the loss of his newly discovered half-brother Damien, who was murdered at Kane's chateau, he and Victoria may well come together again in their shared pain. But he's not the only possibility. In a recent interview with Michael Fairman TV, Heinley had mentioned a new man in Victoria's life, and during the ensuing discussion about love interests, alluded to having an upcoming scene with Jason Thompson, who plays her ex-husband Billy. She explained they always play their scenes together as though there is still love between the characters, and when pressed, admitted that it would be nice to see the pairing revisited. She said, "It's been a while, and we've had a nice time out, so yes, that would be good." Billy, of course, is with Sally. But again, there are troubles aplenty over in France, and that twosome will not escape the curse. After promising Sally she could take over Abbott Communications, Billy then tossed his big brother Jack's funding back in his face, meaning there likely won't be a company for her to run. If Sally gets fed up with Billy's impulsive behavior, he may be back on the market upon landing back in Genoa City. Of course, a Victoria and Billy redo may not be in the cards right now. A new man in Victoria's life was referenced in the interview, and that suggests, well, someone entirely unknown to us and to her. We can't say we're opposed. The Ashland Locke romance was a ton of fun, at least in the beginning. And while Kane has his sights set on Lily, if she shuts the door on the idea of a reunion entirely, Ashby could be tempted anew by Victoria. After all, it was their shared lip locks while his wife was in prison that ended his marriage for good. So he must have found her irresistible. Choose Victoria's next love interest in the poll. What they know that Nick doesn't. Nick and Sharon sure seem to be in a pickle on the July 22nd episode of The Young and the Restless. Well, they're not literally in a pickle. They are literally in a locked room, trying to figure out why Kane would want to frame Nick, and periodically banging on the door and having panic attacks. Victor thinks he can help, but we suspect Michael and Lauren will prove to be the real heroes. Lauren asked Michael if it was legal for Kane's goons to just pronounce Nick to be under house arrest and lock him up without pesky things like a trial, evidence, or jurisdiction. Michael said it wasn't in America, but he wasn't sure about France. Considering that Kane and his men aren't officers of the law, we have to assume they're making stuff up as they go along. Michael is a good lawyer, and even if he's no longer working for Victor, he could probably still defend his son. Except there is no one to defend Nick properly. As we said, Kane is operating outside the known law. Kane has his guests convinced there is no cell phone service, no Wi-Fi. They are completely isolated and on their own. Except that Kane has a very intricate security system set up, complete with remote cameras. Sure, it could be all running on wires, but that's hard to believe, considering how big the property is and how no one has stumbled over any of his secret cables. There has to be some internet connections he's accessing, and if Kane can access them, then so can somebody else. Our money is on Lauren. While everyone else is running around worrying about killers and contracts and chancellors, Lauren has got to be jonesing to get online. So, while her fellow guests fume and fret, leave it to Lauren to walk around with her phone trying to get a connection. We bet she'll find one sooner or later, and then she'll be the hero. Lily is fed up with Phyllis. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Wednesday, July 23rd, find Kyle handling his problems like the mature adult that he is, by going to Nikki to snitch on Victor. Ever since Kyle returned to Genoa City, he has been trying to prove he's his own man. He is! He is! No one seems to believe him for some reason. Maybe it's because his go-to move is to cry about how unfairly he is always being treated. This time, he scurries over to Nikki to whine that Victor hired Audra to seduce Kyle, and that will make Claire sad, and Nikki should go do something about that. For Claire's sake. Not because Kyle isn't capable of cleaning up his own messes. He's a big boy. Phyllis was already making scenes right and left even before Damien was stabbed. Now that she's figured out a way to make even this all about her, she's found new people to question and challenge. Except Lily isn't feeling it. When Phyllis snarks, Lily claps back. Lest we forget, this is Drusilla's daughter we're talking about. Cain orchestrated his guest's visit to France perfectly, down to and including the attack on Damien. In order for it to work, he needs to stage manage every aspect of the show, and that means all of his invisible staff need to be loyal to Cain, and only Cain. Since Cain considers Amanda just another puppet, he needs to be certain she would never put anyone else before him. And when it seems like that might not be the case, Cain gets cranky. Y&R head writer Josh Griffith gives a preview of what fans can expect. The Genoa City crew has been in Nice for many weeks. So much has happened, but the GC residents have no idea. Everyone in Nice has no access to cell or internet service. Cain made sure they were sufficiently cut off from the world, but eventually they will have to return at some point. The Young and the Restless head writer Josh Griffith gave a look at what's next. Cain claims that he's changed. He's no longer the scheming guy who's up to no good. But everyone else would beg to differ, especially his ex-wife Lily. Griffith told Soap Opera Digest that Cain has some work to do when everyone returns to Genoa City. He will have to prove that he's a good guy. Lily isn't the only one who can't trust him. No one is sure what to make of him. Not only is Cain having to contend with everyone's reaction to his deception, but the party guests are now accusing him of murder, Griffith said. It's not a good look. Damien was found dying in Cain's arms. The same Damien who was romancing Lily. Even Amanda doesn't want to help Cain. Cain believes that someone has it out for him. Now, he's not the only one who's in danger. He put all of his guests in danger too. We're still convinced that Cain entrapped his guests at the French estate. Griffith teased that the killer is out for more than one person. It's safe to say that danger continues to loom in a big way, putting our core characters in serious jeopardy, he added. Even if the killer is found, Cain still has to make amends. He's been snapping up properties, and he has eyes on everyone's companies. He will have to prove that he's a changed man. Cain has his work cut out for him when everyone returns to Genoa City. It will be an ever-changing game as he tries to figure out who is a friend or a foe. And making matters worse is that several of his opponents may team up to take him down, Griffith shared. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Lily Winters could be an eyewitness to a fresh attempt on Cain Ashby's life. Does this convince her that her ex did not kill Damien Cain in a love spat over her? Cain is suspect numero uno in Lily's mind. She was dating Damien when Cain made his everlasting love for her known, and now her beau is dead. Cain was found with the body, so who wouldn't think he's guilty? Lily keeps squawking about how Cain is a changed man, and she's talking bad about him for keeping half of GC stranded in Nice with nowhere to go. One thing is clear. Cain is holding back info and cell service from the guests, and this won't look good for him when the truth comes out. What does Cain think of Damien's murder? He believes that he was the intended target and points to his belief that someone is out to get him. Will Cain be proven right? If Cain is correct, there is a cold-blooded killer on the loose, waiting for another chance to kill him. And this killer could possibly miss again and kill an innocent. However, some fans believe that stiffly starched Carter killed Damien to help Cain reunite with Lily. If this is the case, the plan backfired since Lily hates Cain more than ever. It makes sense that the instigator of the crime would try and make a second attempt on Cain's life to prove he's telling the truth. We know nothing about Carter except that he is loyal to Cain, or so it seems. Looks can be deceiving, and in private, Carter could be a spirited social animal. Nonetheless, we predict that he is not without involvement in this felonious fiasco. How likely is it that the script is flipped and Lily ends up warning Cain about a wayward Carter? It would be stupendous to see Lily and Cain bond over a botched murder attempt, but anything is possible in the leafy maze. We're going to miss that maze. Tell us, the Young and the Restless fans, do you think that Lily saves Cain's life before all is said and done this summer? The upcoming episode of the CBS soap opera The Young and the Restless, airing on July 23, 2025, promises major drama, intense confrontations, and some surprising twists. Things are heating up in Genoa City as Amanda sees Kane doing something suspicious. Kyle gets ready to face off with Victor, and a fight breaks out between Lily and Phyllis. The main drama begins when Amanda finds Kane acting strangely around some security footage, leading to a tense argument. At the same time, Lily and Phyllis clash over whether Kane is guilty, and their disagreement could get out of control. Meanwhile, Kyle is fed up with Victor's schemes and shares an important secret with Nikki. Amanda on The Young and the Restless has been unsure about Kane for a while, especially since Damian Kane's sudden death made him look suspicious. When she sees Kane looking at the security footage and thinks he might be trying to delete it, she quickly steps in. Amanda warns him not to mess with something that could help solve the case. Kane doesn't take it well. He starts thinking Amanda might be hiding something too, especially since the original video is already gone. He asks if she had anything to do with it, and soon they're both accusing each other. Their argument shows just how little trust there is between them. Kane on The Young and the Restless was hoping there would be a backup copy of the security footage, which is normally made after 24 hours. But now it looks like that backup might be gone too. This brings up a serious question. Did someone erase it on purpose? Kane may need to rethink what he believes and who he can trust as he tries to prove he's innocent. Elsewhere in Genoa City, on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis is strongly defending Kane. When Lily refuses to believe anything other than Kane being guilty, Phyllis stands up to her. The two women get into a heated argument, with Phyllis saying Kane could never kill someone, and that something about the situation doesn't make sense. Lily isn't convinced. She's still hurt by Kane's past lies and recent suspicious actions. Their fight shows how split everyone is over what happened to Damian. Even though Phyllis wants to believe Kane is innocent, she might start having doubts, especially once she hears that Sharon and Nick are now under house arrest, making things even messier. Kyle has been dealing with the problems caused by his breakup with Claire, and now he's ready to share a hard truth. He tells Nikki that Victor hired Audra to ruin his relationship with Claire. Nikki isn't even surprised, as it sounds exactly like something Victor would do. While Nikki feels bad for Kyle, she quickly starts worrying about what Victor might do next. Kyle wants to confront Victor right away, but he knows Victor is busy trying to help Nick and Sharon with their legal issues. Still, Kyle's warning gives Nikki a lot to think about and hints at more trouble coming for the Newman family. In the recent episode of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, aired on July 22, 2025, Victor demanded Nick and Sharon's release. Their sudden captivity shocked the Genoa City residents and raised suspicions about Kane's true intentions at Chancellor. Meanwhile, Kyle surprised Jack and Diane with a reveal. Sharon had a panic attack while trapped, but Nick calmed her with a story from the past. Meanwhile, Jack and Diane found them locked away, while Audra's lies began to catch up with her as Kyle and Victor questioned her loyalty. At Chancellor Winters, Nikki confronted Kane, and Victor soon followed, leading to a tense showdown. Michael and Lauren discussed Victor's cold behavior as trust and alliances continued to shift. The Young and the Restless episode began with Nick and Sharon locked in an attic-like room by Carter. Sharon panicked as memories from the clinic overwhelmed her, but Nick calmed her down with a story from their time in London. Meanwhile, Jack and Diane discovered their loved ones being held captive and were horrified. The situation quickly caused alarm across Genoa City. On the train on The Young and the Restless, Victor ran into Audra, who claimed everything was going well with her and Kyle. Victor didn't buy it and warned her to deliver results by that night. Later, Michael offered to help with Nick and Sharon's situation, but Victor turned him down. Michael later told Lauren, who was upset by Victor's cold attitude toward her husband. Kyle told Jack and Diane that Audra had revealed her true motives on The Young and the Restless and that she was working with Victor. He then admitted something shocking. He said that he had signed a contract saying that if he broke Claire's heart, he'd owe $5 million and leave Genoa City. Jack and Diane were stunned and told Kyle to be careful. Though Kyle wanted to tell Victor that his plan had failed, Jack and Diane urged him to wait since Victor was already furious about Nick and Sharon. Meanwhile, on The Young and the Restless, Nikki found Kane and blasted him for targeting her kids, especially Nick. Kane claimed he was protecting himself, but Nikki wasn't buying it. Victor soon arrived and demanded that Kane release Nick and Sharon. Kane pushed back, asking what Victor would do if he refused. Victor warned him not to test him and accused him of using the hostages to gain control of Chancellor. When Carter returned and whispered something to Kane, he rushed off, and Victor followed close behind. Back with the Abbotts on The Young and the Restless, Kyle saw Victor chasing after Carter and tried to stop him for a talk. Kyle wanted to come clean and explain that the plan to break up him and Claire didn't work. But Victor didn't want to hear it. He ignored Kyle and stayed focused on his mission. Victor walked away, determined to stop Kane and save his family. The events of the day were sure to leave lasting consequences for everyone involved. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, July 21st to August 8th, tease that Nate Hastings is crushed, the Citizen Kane murder mystery is finally solved, and Claire Newman has stunning news for Kyle Abbott. The week of July 21st to 25 sees Nick Newman and Sharon Newman in trouble as robotic Carter holds them captive. Carter describes it as house arrest, but for all intents and purposes, Sharon and Nick are hostages. When Nick tries to escape, he is injured and wounded. Meanwhile, Carter is interrogated by Victor Newman and Chance Chancellor. Carter defends Kane Ashby and also denies flinging the dagger at dead Damien Germain. Elsewhere, lusty Kyle Abbott tells slinky Audra Charles that he's on to her. She denies duplicity, but he tells her that he knows she is in league with Victor to ruin his relationship with Claire. Eventually, there is another victim on Fantasy Island, and it's up to Sally Spectra and Billy Abbott to help. This could be Nick, and what we do know is that at some she point renders aid to her ex. Even Billy could get involved as the danger ramps up. Over with Nikki, she freaks out when she's cornered by someone. Will the killer strike Nikki, or can Victor or Kane himself save the day? During the week of July 28th, August 1st, the mysterious whodunit winds down as an attempt on Nikki's life results in a lead. Could it be that Carter has been behind the insanity all along? Tons of fans think he is the killer, and honestly, we can't disagree at this point. By the way, how long does it take law enforcement to act on a murder call? Cell service is eventually restored, and bad news needs to be shared with those in GC. Audra should be the one to tell Nate about Damien's death, and Claire tells Kyle about Cole Howard dying. The week of August 4th 8, fans will see Nate's and Amy Lewis struggle to accept Damien's death. But he won't struggle alone since Victoria Newman is in the same boat. They bond in the days to come, and we want to know if you think they should rekindle their past romance? Meanwhile, Kyle feels guilty for his hijinks with Audra and Nice. He plans to make it up to her, but is not prepared for how close she's become with Holden Novak. Remember Mariah Copeland's crazy plotline in which she smothered a stranger with a pillow? Unable to admit the truth, she is tortured as Tessa Porter and Daniel Romalotti grow closer. Once Sharon is back in town, Mariah shifts gears and tries to forget the past by helping her mom process her ordeal. Will she get a nasty shock from someone she least expected to appear? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with The Young and the Restless right now. Come back here often for the hottest Y&R updates, news, and spoilers. Get comfortable and gain access to the best soap intel on the web. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. Fans can expect Nick Newman and Sharon Newman to be in danger. Nikki Newman warns Kane Ashby. Meanwhile, Victor Newman orders Audra Charles to complete her mission. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Nick and Sharon, who are in danger. Carter and an armed thug have told Nick he needs to be on house arrest. However, Sharon emerged, which stunned Carter. The assistant had no idea that anyone else was in the room with Nick. To cover, Carter announced that both of them need to come with him. There will be a scuffle, and it seems Nick will have some kind of injury. Later in the week, Sally Spectra offers assistance to a victim. That victim just might be Nick. Carter seems to be doing things on his own instead of taking direction from Kane. It seems that Kane is hyper-focused on finding that deleted footage. That footage could clear his name immediately and have them looking for the real killer. Now, the only people who seem to have access to the surveillance room are Kane, Amanda Sinclair, Nate, and the staff. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, July 22nd, reveal that Nikki will have a fierce warning for Kane. Nikki will blast the tycoon for setting up Nick for Damian Kane's death. Kane will likely insist that he's innocent, and he's the one being framed. However, Nikki won't be so sure of that. Nikki will likely leave the conversation with a warning that the truth will come out soon enough. Of course, Kane wants that too. Over with Victor, he will have a meeting with Audra. The brunette will have to admit that Kyle Abbott figured out the plan and wants nothing to do with her. However, Victor will demand that Audra make it happen if she wants the rest of her funding for LeBronte. Audra has already risked so much for this new venture. Audra feels she has no other options, so how will she make sure she gets that money? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, July 26, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next.